money. I failed. They're not worth anything. But they're going to be a great theme for my baby's room, so it's fantastic. Okay. Now, it was not too long ago I had to write a speech for my brother's wedding. And being the schmoozer that I am, I figured I could throw something together, no problem. So 3 days before his wedding, I started to write and realized that making a speech and schmoozing are two different ballgames. Because of that, I said I would start mine way in advance. So on November 10th, 2011, I started to jot down some pointers and a few things I wanted to say. I was off to a great start. Then lightning struck. I broke my ankle that night. I had surgery that weekend and been out of commission ever since, which brought me back to writing my speech last minute. So being that this speech is being told to many of the same people, and about many of the same people, 4 days of pushing it to come up with new material. So like I said last time, a good speech is like a miniskirt. Short enough to be interesting, and long enough to cover the essentials. So I will try my best to do just that. First off, on behalf of my wife and I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight, for helping us celebrate this special day in our lives, and an extra thank you for all who have traveled from afar to be here. It really means a lot to us. We all know there's a huge void here tonight with the absence of my father, Shelley. I told Marley I was not going to make this part of the speech sad and about how much I miss him and wish he was here, but rather let you know how proud I was to be his son. For those who knew Shelley, you would know that that is where my schmoozing skills come from. If he were here tonight, we'd probably still on be speech number one, as he'd be making his rounds, going from table to table, telling a story about each person at each meeting. There was nobody like my father. He was always the life of the party. He was the most generous and caring man. And even when you were with him, whether you knew him or not, he always made you feel like you were loved, like you were his best friend. From the minute he met Marley, he loved her from day one. He knew she was the one for me. I mean, when she moved back from New York, my dad would call her more than I would to see how she was doing. The cherry on top was when Marley came to Montreal to visit. And like a smart Jewish woman, she decided to cook a feast for the family. Because we all know the fastest way to a man's heart is to his stomach. She cooked the works: chicken, roast beef, veggies, potatoes, you name it. My father sat down, took one bite, looked up at me, and said, "Dad, if you don't marry her, I will." I know he was looking down, smiling, and is proud I finally made Marley my wife, and I couldn't be more happy. I love you, Dad. I know you're here tonight making sure we party like you would. Bubby and Zadie, Betty and Lou Goldberg. Having you here tonight to help us celebrate makes Marley and I so happy. Bubby, the rock of the Goldberg family. You're the toughest lady I know. And watching you work towards being able to attend tonight, along with your encouragement, is the reason I never got down about having a broken ankle for my wedding. You're always there for some good advice, and most of all, you say it like it is. You're one of a kind, and I love you. Mr. Luke Goldberg, a.k.a. Zadie. I can't thank you enough for what you have done for me over the last year. You gave me the help and courage I needed to make the big move to Toronto and open up this store. Not only did you help me, but you're always putting your grandchildren first, and the love you have for Bubby is like no other. If I turn out to be half the man you are, I'd be very happy with that. Thanks, happy birthday, and I love you. Before I get to the in-laws and the rest of the family, I wanted to thank some people who, along with my Zadie, have helped me in opening my store in Toronto. To my uncles Joel and Eric. Thank you for all the help you have given me over the last year. I couldn't have opened without you guys. There were a few rough patches along the way, but there was always a little rain before a rainbow, and I hope, like me, you are starting to see the colors. Thank you. how thankful I am to have you in my life. When my father passed, I had lost my mentor and best friend. By no means did you have to try and fill his shoes for me. There is no replacing a Sheldon Goldberg, but having you there made everything easier. You were there every step of the way. I'm 6 years in this business and I'm still as green as they come. I've learned a lot from you and look forward to learning more. Thanks for being there. It means more than you'll ever know. On to the fam. To my new brother and sister, Naomi. Even though we do not spend a lot of time together, being that you live in New York, I feel like we have a special bond. We have a shared sense of humor and a deep respect for hip-hop music. But most of all, we both love Marley tremendously. You were such a good sister to Marley, speaking on the phone almost every day. I mean, for two 30-something-year-olds, we still talk to each other in baby voices. You have to really love someone to still talk like a baby at your age. You're a great sister, and I look forward to becoming even closer with you. David, you don't talk much. You were hard enough to crack. I've known you for 5 years, and 4 years in, I finally broke your shell. Mari and I love spending time with you and Nikki, and even though you can be a hard ass at times, I finally figured you out. The real David is a sensitive, stand-up guy, and I'm glad you're my brother. My new parents, Anna and Hush. I shouldn't say new, because they have both made me feel like family before the ring was on Marley's finger, and I've introduced you as my in-laws ever since. Anna, can I say? Everybody who knew my father knew he had heart of gold, and he's always putting people before himself. Well, I think I found this match. You're always doing for others. You're the most caring person I know. I can't tell you guys how many times Marley would be eating dinner and Marley would say to me, or I would say to her, more berries, more milk, eggs, etc., etc. Before you know it, Marley and I would come home from work the next day, they would have magically appeared in our fridge. That's the kind of woman Anna is. Aww. Over the last 3 weeks, Anna has been my personal helper. Like clockwork, she would be at my house at 10 o'clock and feed me breakfast, and I would be with her, and she would be with me until Marley got home from work. Even though she had a wedding to plan, all she cared about is that I was well taken care of. Well, all she cared about is that I was well taken care of. Like I said, a heart of gold. Thanks for everything. I love you. Hush. You too remind me of my father, because you never stop working. I don't think I've ever come to your house and you were not at your desk working. Funny thing is, you hate to work. I know it. But you do it because you love your family and love to do for them. Like Anna, you're always doing for your children. For me, you bring home water. For those who know me, know that water is my drug. Hush used to bring home a jug of water every 2-3 months. Now it's once a month. And every time he brings home the bottle, he says, "See, Daniel, look what I do for you. I just schlepped this bleeding thing from my office." When I first met you, watching sports was something you never did. Besides the dirty joke here and there was not much we had in common. So wanting to form a strong bond with me, Hush recently became a New York Giants fan. Every Sunday I get the call. What time are they playing? Want to watch with me? Aww. You're always there to help, and I love you for all you do, and I'm proud to call you Dad. Noah, the best man, a.k.a. my big but smaller brother. You were the toughest to write about. Like I said at the beginning of the speech, I just wrote a whole speech about you for your wedding. So no jokes this time. I just want you to know that I feel very lucky to have you. Sorry. I just want you to know that I feel very lucky to have a brother like you. You're always there when I need something. Growing up, I always said my brother had a good head on his shoulders, and being the younger brother, I always looked up to you. Thanks for making me feel more like your best friend, not just your younger brother. I love you. Lori, I'm very happy with my sister. The relationship you have with Marley is second to none. I know she can count on you for anything. We love you so much and look forward to all the good times you will have as a family. Mom! Over the past 3 years, you've truly impressed me with your strength and courage. Your attitude towards life is just remarkable. Always thinking positive, knowing that everything happens for a reason, and whatever obstacles come your way, you only learn from them and get stronger. You truly are the best mom a son can ask for. Always helping me when help is needed, and always looking at the positives for me when times are tough. I know deep down inside you always wanted a little girl, but I hope I did okay, as you always check with me if what you're wearing goes, and you will not buy a pair of running shoes unless I'm there with you. I'm glad I can be there to help you like you are to help me. But now you have a daughter, 2 to be exact, so check with them now, okay? But don't worry, I'm still there when you need a new pair of running shoes, as my love for shoes is not going anywhere soon, and it's 150 plus I have on my own. Your relationship with Marley is very special. You made her feel like family from day one, and Marley and I thank you for everything you have done for us. From the bottom of my heart, I love you. My wife. Let's be honest. When we first met, there was not even a thought in our minds that we'd date each other, let alone marry one another. I was a young kid who sat in the back of the class at GIA with my hood over my head, earphones in my ears. I was strictly there to learn diamonds. I talked to nobody. Being that we were the only 2 out of 3 Jews in the class, a month or so into the class, you asked me to go for lunch, and I happily accepted. We hit it off right away, but 2 things held you back. 1, you couldn't see yourself dating someone as young as me. And 2, you had a boyfriend. This guy doesn't back down so easily. I kept the suits. We went for lunch a few more times, and even went on a date, but you brought your sister along, so you didn't feel guilty because you were already taken. A month later, after visiting Toronto, you came back single. You finally smartened up and realized what a catch you had right in front of you. From that point on, we were a match made in heaven. Marley, you were smart, caring, loving. Sorry, I can't read what else Marley wrote. Just kidding. All kidding aside, Marley, you are the best person I know. You have been there for me through thick and thin, and I'm forever thankful for that. You have made me a better person, but more importantly, you make me want to be a better person. You are my puppy, the love of my life, and you made me the happiest man alive today. I love you, and look forward to the rest of our life together. Party.
That was after Scott. No, that was before Scott. No, that was mid Scott. Right after Scott.